A lineup of ladies that need no introduction. Give a huge round of applause for Mercedes Schlapp, Casey Crosby, and Julie Harris.
Was that the most incredible speech ever? Wow. Wow. I mean, President Trump knows how to pick the women who run and are powerful in his government, right? Okay, this is like a super impressive crowd, and I'm here with two incredibly impressive women. Of course, Casey Crosby, our RNC co-chair. What a joy. What a joy. Come on, it's got to be louder than this, okay? Come on. The Republican women are beautiful, smart, loud, and we are never silenced, that's for sure. And of course, you all know we love her. She's amazing. Miss Julie Harris, you are rock star material. So I feel like I'm at my house with like over 1,000 of my favorite friends. But sitting here in our sofa, we kind of needed wine, but we didn't get the wine. And really want to talk about the women vote, okay? We're going to jump right into this really important. We saw that 46% of women voted for Donald Trump, which was outstanding numbers that you all were part of that incredible victory. Julie, walk us through the win. I mean, walk us through what you were doing to ensure that we could get the women vote out.
Well, the National Federation of Republican Women, because we are a grassroots organization, and as all these women out here in the audience knows, we do millions of phone calls, thousands of doors, millions of volunteer hours. That gives us a very unique perspective because we're on the doorsteps, we're on the phone, we know what the voters want. And what we knew was that women cared about more than just one issue. And the Democrats tried to box all women in on one issue. We knew...
Let me guess, does it have to deal with a body part? Is that what it is? Because we're only a body part, right? I mean, it's ridiculous.
So we knew they cared about the border,
right,
security, and the economy. We set that as our mission, and we didn't deviate. We knew that there were many honorable things we could have championed. But if we only had 30 seconds on a doorstep or 30 seconds on a phone, we wanted to connect with the voter. And we knew that the border, security, and the economy would do that. So we got the right message, and we got the right women to do the job.
All right, talking about the right women to do the job. Okay, you had huge shoes to fill when Laura Trump, let's give a shout out here to Laura Trump, a big applause. For Laura was, I had an opportunity to go on the Women for Trump bus to a bunch of your states during the 2020 campaign when I worked for the campaign. Tell us what's been the biggest challenge, but also the biggest opportunities you're seeing at the RNC.
So yeah, I did have some big shoes to fill, but I say, you know, there's no possible way to fill Laura Trump's shoes. She created such an awesome path for me to follow, and she did truly an amazing job. And so I would say the biggest challenge is everybody thinks that I need to fill her shoes, and she's irreplaceable. She's Laura Trump, and she did a phenomenal job with our election integrity efforts.
Casey, just change your last name to Trump. I don't know what you're talking about.
That would make life really easy.
Right?
Yeah.
Maybe get some stock options. No, I'm kidding. So tell us, at the RNC, your co-chair, what are you finding right now? Okay, we've got this big challenge. We're going into the midterm elections, but also what's your big opportunity?
Our big opportunity is the midterm elections. I mean, we've been pedal to the metal since really election day 2024. We need to make sure that President Trump is a four-year president, and we do that by winning the midterms. And so we're doing everything we can to make sure that we win these midterms. And you know, we're raising the money. We're going out protecting the vote. Some of you may or may not know, we are already actively involved right now in about 100 lawsuits. We have filed 48 Freedom of Information requests to get the voter rolls to make sure that only people who are legal and alive should be on the voter roll. I mean, it makes total sense, right? So we're already pedal to the metal at the RNC, raising the necessary funds, but our number one goal is to make sure that President Trump is a four-year president.
Julie, walk us through. We've got these off-year elections happening too in Virginia. We've got a great candidate for governor there, Winsome Sears, who's fantastic. CPAC's hosting an event for her October 25th, a CPAC Latino event to get the Latino vote out for Winsome. We've got this race in New Jersey as well, the governor's race. Are you all involved in getting the vote out for those races?
Absolutely, and we have joined with the RNC. So several months ago, our wonderful co-chair, Casey Crosby, who doesn't need to fill anyone's shoes, she's leaving pretty big footprints behind herself. She came to the NFRW and we spent a couple of hours talking about a plan and a strategy. And we've named this strategy WIN, Women Increasing Numbers. Now, it's not anything new. It's what we already do. It's getting the vote out. It's election integrity, training poll watchers. We're just joining forces. We're united. Not only are we united, but we're going to do it in a big way so that the Democrats get the message they do not own the women's vote.
Amen.
And I will say, I think that's the beauty of when we were working for the president's campaign, even at CPAC, we went to the RNC, worked with them, say, what do you need us to do? What do you all not want to do that we can help with? This is the beauty of bringing all of our organizations together, which is so critical. Okay, Casey, I am so concerned about this midterm election. What states do we really have to keep an eye on?
Well, there are about 13 states that are going to be target states right now. We're going through evaluating all of those. I think we've identified Michigan is probably our #1 target, but we're going to be active in probably about 13 states, and we're evaluating now what kind of resources and what we need to put into those states. So some of them are obvious. You've heard them, Pennsylvania. Florida's going to be a target, Nevada, Texas. We have to California.
Wait, you said California?
I said
Where
California.
are my California people? See right there, okay. Where's the Pennsylvania people? Okay, over there. Michigan? Okay, they're here. Okay, so listen clearly, because this is where we're going.
Yeah, we've already been in your states. I know some of y'all are tired of seeing me already. I was in Michigan twice last week, Wisconsin. We're already in the states.
Wisconsin?
Yes, we're already.
Where's my Wisconsin women? They're over here. There you go.
So, but I will say, right now we're looking at states like New Jersey and Virginia because they have governor's races. Yes, so we're looking at states right now like New Jersey and Virginia where we have these big governor's races, and we're trying to do some test runs on some things there, and it's really important, and I think I'll mention it because I am in a room full of active, engaged women. We need your help in those states.
Amen.
Like, a lot of you all don't have stuff going on right now, and they could use the phone calls, they can use the door knockers, they can use the postcards, and because we have this new coalition between our groups, it's really easy for you to get on. I see all of you all with your phones. You're up here taking selfies when Tulsi's speaking. Get on your phone.
You're not taking selfies of us? What's wrong, people?
No, I know. Where is everybody? But anyway, pull out your phones, womenthatwin.org. Get on there and sign up. We will put you to work. It's like the Trump Force 47. It's so easy to make phone calls, and the women in this room could be a difference in these races. They are close. We have an opportunity to win 2 governorships here, and particularly New Jersey. That would be a huge win. So y'all get out your phones, sign up, we'll put you to work. You can do it while you're sitting home in your pajamas and make a difference in these states. So that's my plug for those 2 races too this year.
Also, Julie, you were talking about these issues, about what do you think are going to be the issues that women are going to care about as we're going into the midterm elections? How is that going to be different than the presidential race?
Well, I feel like that the issues are going to be very similar. They're going to want to maintain the safety that we've received under President Trump. Where the challenge is going to be for the NFRW and for the RNC is to get our message out as to what we have accomplished, because we're working against a mainstream media that's not our friends. We may as well not even gripe about that. Let's just move on and find another way to get our message out, and it starts with the 1,200 women that are here this weekend and the 60,000 women spread out across the country, because the president has done a fantastic job, but we have to get the message out. You have to think of it like if you hurt yourself in sports and you go to physical therapy, you get to feel a little better, you get right back out there before the doctor tells you it's time, you risk doing permanent damage. President Trump has got us so far, but he needs to finish the job. He needs all 4 years.
And then we need 8 more years of, President J.D. Vance, and then we need 8 years after that. So, ladies, we're not going to stop working at all. So there is no retirement for anyone in this room, and you gentlemen either, no retirement. All right, Casey, let me ask you this. You were talking about these lawsuits, talking about these voter rolls. Obviously, election integrity keeps coming up as one of those things. And I have to say, the RNC has done an incredible job, especially under the former chair, Michael Whatley, who we worked very closely with. And I know our current chair is going to be amazing as well. What can we anticipate? What are you all looking at? What are you guys focused on as we start going into early voting? I know it's happening already in Virginia, but as we're going into early voting next year in the midterm election.
Like I said, we will not slow down. We learned a very big lesson in 2024 that when you are aggressive and on the offense with election integrity, you win elections. And I just want to give everybody a little example. I brought up Michigan, and I think this is a good sort of thing to tell you about the level of coordination that we have at the Republican National Committee. In Detroit, we submitted hundreds of names for poll workers and poll watchers, hundreds of names. In the primary, they chose, I think, about 7% coverage from Republicans. They have parity law there, so we went in and we sued. We used the primary as a dry run to identify some problems there. We went in and sued, and then during the general election, we had 600 poll watchers and poll workers, and just in the city of Detroit alone. Now, it gets better. It gets better. Let me tell you, because we had those people on the ground and we had a war room in place in Detroit because we identified that might be a place we have a problem, those poll workers notified us when they saw that the Democrats were coming in and trying to close down precincts and certify the election at 2 and 3 o'clock in the afternoon in some of these precincts. And because of the preparation and the training that we did on the ground, we were able to alert our war room. We sent out 60 employees that we had also certified as election workers in that city. They were able to immediately deploy out, as were our attorneys, and we were able to have the election extended to the normal operating hours, which really prevented some fraud going on in that city. But that takes so much coordination. I talk about cities where there's been bomb threats. We had timers when we knew it. We identified the cities where there might be a bomb threat. We had timers outside, so when the bomb threat was called in, we literally had somebody with their phones out. To the minute, they were clocking it. We were getting the information to our attorneys because we knew the Democrats were going to go to court and try to extend the voter hours by 3 and 4 hours because they shut down for 18 minutes. We won 9 out of 10 of those cases to the minute. The one that we lost, the judge was feeling a little generous. I think instead of 19 minutes, he gave 21 minutes. But that just shows you the amount of coordination that we had between our poll workers, poll watchers, our lawyers, our staff. It is a huge undertaking. It is a huge undertaking, but you're going to see that level of activity from us, and currently in Virginia and New Jersey and moving into 2026.
I got to tell you, Casey, that is very impressive. And just being in several presidential campaigns and watching the organization from the last presidential campaign and knowing that we're going in very strongly into the midterms is so, so impressive coming from what you're doing. Julie, what advice do you have for all these wonderful warriors out here? Like, what can we anticipate as we're going into the midterms in terms of, we're knocking on doors, we're making phone calls. What else do we need to be honing in on? What else do you need to make sure that you're successful in what you're doing?
Well, we're going to need to increase that 10.9 million volunteer hours. Get it up.
Wait, say that again. What was it?
10.9 million volunteer hours.
She's a driver. Wow.
That's what we did the last election. So we need to redo that. We need to replicate that and increase that. We need to increase our phone calling. Don't assume that your neighbor and your community know what you know. We are very happy with our president. We're very happy with the way things are going. Don't assume that when you're on someone's doorstep that they understand that. We are going to have to win the messaging war. That's going to be our challenge.
You know, I think you're absolutely right, because we live in this political world, so we all, like all of us in this room, we know exactly what's going on, but there are so many people out there that are disconnected. Like, they're not following the news or the truth socials or of what the president is doing. And so really, and you know, you think that, oh, the people on TV, they're getting the message across. No, it is each and every single one of you being an effective communicator, an effective messenger, and being able to sell the winning message of Donald Trump. How do you think the RNC is going to be playing that role as well in ensuring that there is this, we're winning on the message, you know, war against the Democrats? What is the message for the Republicans going forward? Because the Democrats don't have one, obviously.
Yeah, no, it's when they have leaders like Mamdani, AOC, Schumer, Boo.
Come on, I gotta hear it, guys. So bad.
And you know, we like to joke a lot in our building about we can't understand for the life of us. They keep doubling down on the most ridiculous issues. Like, they're literally fighting to keep MS-13 gangbangers. And we're not talking about people who are just in our country illegally. We're talking about rapists, human traffickers, murderers. That's who they're fighting for. They're fighting to let boys into girls' locker rooms and into girls' sports. Those are the issues that they're fighting for. And I know everybody sitting in this room cannot identify with those types of issues. President Trump is winning. The economy is strong. You got the big, beautiful bill passed. We have to be messengers out talking about how that is impacting our lives. Border crossings, 0 in 4 months. It's truly amazing what our president has been able to do. And if we don't win the midterms, it's going to be impeach, 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 impeach. And that's all we're going to hear. So we have got to work like dogs to make sure that we win these midterms.
Yeah. Well, my pronoun is USA. Yeah. That's right. Talking about the messaging, that's a good point. What do you think is the most effective messaging, Julie, that as your warriors, our volunteers are out there, when they're talking to someone, what's the messaging that's going to work?
I think the messaging that's going to work is what you see at the Trump rally. Now, that if you haven't been to a Trump rally, you really have missed out. What Trump did is he made it okay to love your country again. And what we have found while we have been going door to door and phone calling is Americans want to love their country. That is still a winning message. In addition to that, we have to stress the border security. Even though we're enjoying the border being safe right now, it will not be safe under a Democrat-controlled House and Senate. We are safe while President Trump is in the office. We must codify his executive orders. We cannot stress that enough. That has been our main focus in 2025, and it will be a winning message in 2026.
Okay, Casey, you too. What do you think that right message is for all of our volunteers out here tonight?
Yeah, I agree a lot with what Julie just said. And I would say, you know, it's also okay to be on the offense a little bit with the Democrats. Remember, every single elected Democrat in Congress voted for the largest tax increase in U.S. history. That impacts your lives. That impacts your livelihoods. And I find a lot of people vote pocketbook issues. We care about the economy. Many of you all in here manage your households, and you're seeing that things are a little bit better right now under President Trump. And so don't be scared to go on the offense. But I agree with Julie. We have to get out and really promote President Trump and his policies. And I also want to add to that, I have never seen a Republican Party unified like we are right now. There is literally no daylight between the Republican National Committee and the White House.
That's right.
And all of our constituent groups that we work with, it's coordinated, we talk to each other, and that's why we're winning, is because we are all working in the same direction to make sure President Trump's a 4-year president. And it takes a lot of coordination.
Well, and I would add to that one thing, the Democrats are at a 30-year low for approval rating from their own party, and especially from the United States as a whole. We need to capitalize on that.
Yeah.
We need to understand that. That really requires a little bit of time at looking at what makes their approval rating go so low. And then let's do the opposite.
And I would also say, too, get out of your comfort zone. I know when I've been in New Jersey and Virginia a whole lot. In fact, I got named an honorary Jersey girl. Whoever would have thought this Kentucky girl would be named an honorary Jersey girl? But I've been there so much.
Can you do the accent or no?
I don't think. Yeah. They laugh because I'll say, "Oh, y'all," and then they look at me like, "What in the world
Where
is that?"
are you from?
I'm like, "You guys." I think. But anyway, I tell them because I've been in some pretty big Republican counties there, and I'm like, go help your neighbors in other counties.
Yeah.
Go out of your comfort zone. Talk to your Bible studies. Talk to the ladies at church. Talk to your parents, at soccer practice. You have to step out of your comfort level a little bit because, like Julie said, you can't assume everybody knows what you know about what's going on in politics and how it impacts your lives. So I would say get out of your comfort zone a little bit, and please, please, please sign up and help us in these 2 states right now. We need your help. I'm literally groveling, begging you all to help us. I look at these women in this room, and I know you can be a difference.
Absolutely. Well, I just want to add, the biggest problem with the Democrats is that their message is based on hate. Their absolute hate of Donald Trump. Their Trump derangement syndrome is so severe that they should probably be hospitalized at this point in time. and they have no agenda, and they have no message, and that is what also is important to say. It's like, tell me what their common sense agenda is. Is it child mutilation? Is it more taxes? Is it criminals coming through the border? Is that what we want? And I think we want to emphasize this common sense agenda, which is what President Trump is pushing for public safety, for secure borders, for a prospering economy and peace in the world. And I think that's the winning message going through. I want to get final thoughts here, Julie, okay? Be our wise woman in terms of what message you want to leave to this wonderful crowd.
Well, I want to extend my gratitude for you all for helping us win the White House, the House, and the Senate. Give yourself an applause. I want to thank our wonderful co-chair, former treasurer, for everything the RNC did to help us win. And thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you.
And especially CPAC. You do great work. Every time I go to CPAC, I see our women walking around CPAC. So I would invite you to tell the women what's next for CPAC.
There's a lot going on just on the state, in the states alone. I won't go into our freedom global movement yet, but I don't even want to use the word global because global is bad. International movement. We do have the CPAC Latino event for Winsome Sears coming up in October, so that's exciting. If you are in that Virginia, DC, Maryland, want to come up and join us, please go to cpac.org. We have our Ending Our Christian Persecution Summit happening in October, and then we have our big CPAC happening in March, which is going to be really spectacular in Dallas, Texas. So if you can't make it to a Trump rally, the best way to see Donald Trump, seriously, as Julie can tell you, is at CPAC, because he just talks for like 2 hours and thinks like he's like at Mar-a-Lago or something like that. So it's really an exciting time, and we're going to be involved in New Jersey as well and providing support to the RNC. During the presidential election, we worked with the RNC and honed in on ballot box monitoring to ensure that there would be no fraud happening at the ballot boxes. We notified all the secretaries of states that we would be watching these ballot boxes in these cities, especially in places like Philadelphia and Milwaukee. And we ended up being able to, I think, curtail some of the bad actors from the Democrat side. So we're going to keep coordinating with the RNC, keep working with your team as well, Julie. We're united, and we're united to win. And these women are front and center to make sure that we have victory next year during midterm elections. So let's get to work.
Thank you.
All right, God bless.
Go Kentucky. I don't know where you are, but
Kentucky.
Kentucky.
Where's
Where are
Kentucky?
you?
Over there.